Sue and Craig have equity in their home, plus some savings in the bank. They decided to buy a second property as a tenanted investment. They got advice from Toowoomba's Edge Lending, because Edge Lending are the experts in borrowing to buy investment property.
Hi everyone, Scott from Edge Specialist Advice Network. I hope you're well. Hey, today we've got another installment of What the Numbers Say, and as usual, we're using the graphs from the good guys at Visual Strategist. If you haven't downloaded or signed up to these guys, you really should. So today we're going to look at the data centers, or the percentage of data centers that are held in strategic countries and who has the control of all the data. Now, this may not come as a big surprise. So let's have a look at this. Okay, the world has almost 12,000 data centers. And if you've ever seen a data center or seen a picture of a data center, flown over a data center, they are just a ridiculously huge, voluminous looking place. Like just building. It's just like they look like mega factories. In fact, what do these things need a lot of? They need cooling power, because obviously the chips get very, very hot and they don't work properly, and they need a huge amount of power. But we're going to come back to that. Let's have a look at this. What we've got here in the percentage of the data centers that is actually held in the United States. So 46% of the global data center numbers is held just by the US. You see a couple of little countries. Looking at China. China's got 450. The US has 5,381. That's just an amazingly huge amount. And you see some other countries, you think, well, they would have a lot. You know, Japan's got 219. Australia, 307. I'm surprised by this when you look at Japan having 219 and Australia having 307. I have a feeling that a lot of those are militarily used in relation to the Five Eyes. So pretty much the US uses us to also house data centers for military applications, especially for spying on a lot of their own citizens, because we don't have a human rights law, but we can spy on US citizens and not fall foul of any constitution, where the US government, even though they do, breaks the constitution all the time. So it's just easier to get other countries to spy on your own citizens for you. That's what we do, and that's part of the Five Eyes Agreement. Every country does it. It's not a big, it is a big deal. It's a massive deal, actually. People don't understand, but it's really, really commonplace. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So what are the takeaways from this? The takeaways from this, specifically in an investing sense, was two, really. One is the data is the new oil, right? Who holds the data can potentially control the world, and obviously the US likes being in control of the world. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Donald Trump in as president, that's not going to change the things that he wants to be a winner. He wants to have America as the top of the pile. He still wants to be number one. So there'll be a lot of support for the continuation of such an outsized amount of data collection on the world's data to be held and domiciled in the US. So you can see that those guys, whenever it comes to those things, you can see why they're just the leader in that. And you can see that there's a lot of tech who use all the data centers flowing around Donald Trump. DeepSeek as an open source AI scared everyone, because then all of a sudden all this data is going to be available to the general public in theory for free, whereas you can tell that big tech in the US with all their data centers wanted to make it a business model. Instead of having it as a global utility that people could use and build on top of, a bit like a browser, they decided that they were going to charge for access, and DeepSeek has scared that model a little bit. But if you come back to just the basics of the data centers, the sheer amount of power that is required, we could see us being eventually very bullish in copper, very bullish in natural gas, probably not so much coal, natural gas, very bullish in uranium and small modular nuclear reactors. Because what's actually happening is the data centers are going, look, we can't just plug into the regular grid that regular citizens plug into. If we did, we're going to soak up all of the power, pretty much all the power. They're either going to have rolling blackouts, or we're going to have so much power that their power bills are going to probably exponentially times by 10. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plonk ourselves here, and we're going to buy and build and own 100% a power station just for us, just for our data center. That's what's been happening, especially in places like Texas, where energy is cheap. And you can say, well, is it going to be a natural gas power station? Perhaps. what they've been doing is putting themselves next to decommissioned, even coal power stations, recommissioning them. Microsoft's been doing this, Amazon's doing this, Tesla's doing this, just so that they can run all the power just for their data center. I think the eventual push will be for small modular nuclear reactors. So small modular nuclear reactor gets pushed right beside a data center, and there it goes, and they can power and do what they want to do. So as a power play, if DeepSeek has been overstated about how little power it runs on, and if this is still the case, then you could be very bullish in small modular nuclear reactors, uranium, enriched uranium, a lot of, I guess, some sort of battery things, precious metals involved with battery, a lot of silver, and I would expect natural gas to be right up there as well. So you could probably do, when we're doing a long-term play, I guess, investments that are going to suit our family and our family legacy, some of these energy resources are kind of built into where the world is going and how fast the world is going. And with data being the new real estate or the new oil, whichever way you want to look at it, you can imagine that trend is not going to go anywhere, and their appetite for energy is just going to exponentially grow and grow and grow, and they will need to be fed, and obviously the minerals have to come out of the ground, they have to be profitable, and so that everyone makes some money, and everything keeps rolling along. So look, if you're looking for an some sort of inflationary proof plays, potentially a little bit recession proof on some of these, because the small modular nuclear reactors are going to be for the data centers. They're not based upon energy consumption in the general world. If there's a downturn, that could be something that we could see. Hey, look, there's money to be made there, and we've got a couple of small modular nuclear reactor plays that we sometimes put in our clients' portfolio. Look, guys, I thought this was fairly interesting just to see the outsized representation from the US on the ownership of and how they're domiciled, but really the ownership of the data and the data centers in the world. You can understand why US wants to keep a pretty tight control of that, because they're just so dominant. All right, that's enough from me, guys. Remember, life is a family sport. Give yours an edge. See ya.
Superannuation is every Australian's most important investment. The decisions you make now can have a large impact on when you can afford to retire and the lifestyle you'll enjoy when you do. There are so many companies to pick from for your super, but did you know that you can also manage it yourself? Edge Financial Services can help you take control of your super and plan for retirement with a self-managed super fund. There are many different ways for you to invest in your future. To find out more about investment strategies that will give you the edge in retirement, visit edge.net.au today.